Moshpit Passion, for the passion of music.
Herzlich willkommen hier bei Moshpit Passion auf YouTube. Ich bin der Kajo und wie ihr sehen könnt, ich bin nicht alleine hier. Ich habe hier den lieben Bobby von Biohazard. Und es ist mir ein besonderes Anliegen, weil ich nämlich großer Fan bin von dieser Scheibe hier, Urban Discipline, einer meiner Lieblingsalben. Und Biohazard habe ich jetzt das ein oder andere Mal auch gesehen. Ja, als die Band zurückgekommen ist vor 2 Jahren einmal auf dem Wacken und Anfang dieses Jahr mit Live of Agony. Und ja, ich werde jetzt einmal umswitchen ins Englische. So, Bobby, thank you very much for having me and us in Moshpit Passion to do the interview with you.
Thank you. Dankeschön. Thank you.
How are you doing currently?
Uh, I'm good. We're running around going through a bunch of stuff right now and getting ready to release the album a few more days on the 17th. Divided Will Fall will be officially released.
Um,
Yeah.
how is it for you after these many years to do this PR circus, talking with magazines, to be back with Biohazard?
It's you know, it's a little strange, but it's something we've all done for many years, but it's part of it's part of the whole thing, it's part of the whole being in a band, Um, And it's just starting to happen now. So the realization of the interviews and the PR stuff, as you say, is now that's what's taken over, and the creative process is finished, and now we have to go out and we have to perform and we have to, spread the word about what we just did on this album, and so it's like we're getting back into the swing of things. We love playing live. As soon as we got back on stage together. At first, a little nervous, but then all of a sudden, it was like we were 19 again, and we were just having fun, and it felt great, you know. We were the old band right away, you know.
So since your reunion, I saw you 2 times. I think it was here 2 years ago at the Wacken Festival,
Yeah,
and this spring with Life of Agony in
yeah,
Cologne. It's always a pleasure to see Biohazard, but with the original lineup. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a classic one, and I
Thank
really would
you.
like for us ask you, especially when it comes to hardcore, how special is it for you to be back with the original lineup? Because especially in hardcore, like for instance, Gorilla Biscuits or many other bands, they are not the original members, for instance, around or not in the band anymore. They are
Yeah,
working with different people.
yeah.
But how is it for you to be back with the OGs?
Well, first of all, it's understandable when bands are still going and it's not the original band. I mean, that's what happens. Life changes for people and sometimes they can't stay in the band or whatever. But the important thing is that somebody's keeping the music going and that, that the band is still alive and, for all bands. And the thing is that there's something special about an original lineup that I think people always hold favor for. And for me, it's very special because uh, this is the reason we started this. This is these guys, us together, we remember like why and how and you know how it all came together and what we all learned along the way together, and that's why it's really cool, for us to be back as one, for me. And to know that we're all friends still, that's really important. Us being friends is what's really important. And
Sure.
when we, and it was great doing that Life of Agony tour because we know those kids.
Yeah,
I'm calling them kids because I remember them when they were little kids. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So we know them since they were very young, and we all, came from the same area in Brooklyn. And so when we were out there with them, it was like a big you know, family tour. And it was really nice to have Lilac out with us, which is an interesting new band that I just discovered. And I think they're really talented, and it was a really, really cool tour. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Definitely. And for instance, I think even and Alan from Life of Agony they went to kindergarten, I guess. There
Yeah,
are some pictures around. It's like,
yeah,
wow, all from Brooklyn. It's
yeah,
crazy.
man. Those guys knew each other from kindergarten. Like, little, what, 5 years old. And when I dropped out of high school, I would be, you know, I don't know, 15 years old, playing my guitar. I would go to the schoolyard or some park or somewhere. I like the schoolyards on the weekends when school was closed because there's like a courtyard and you can hear the echo or whatever. I just be always outside in the park, playing my guitar. And there would be this little kid come up on his bicycle and be like, "Hey man, can I listen? Can I watch?" That was Joey Z.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joey was very interested in guitar,
Uh,
and then later on, Joey would, you know, I hope I'm not getting him in trouble now, but he's grown up. But he would cut out of school and ring my doorbell and come over with, coffee cake and coffee. Be like, "Yo, can I come up? Let's jam." The first thing in the morning. So we'd start playing guitar, and then Joey was our first roadie,
mm,
and then Joey put together his own band. And then, you know what I mean? And the ironic thing is, when I first met Evan, and our original first drummer was Anthony Mio, rest in peace. He passed away. But he was great friends with all of us. Danny knows him from kindergarten, like it's a big family thing. And but when I first met Evan, he was roadieing for Peter Steele.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you got typo negative. That was carnivore then. Then he
Carnivore.
he got typo negative going. His roadie started Biohazard, and then our roadie started Life of Agony, and all three of us got signed to Roadrunner.
Yeah.
You know?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Great, all great guys, all those bands, everybody. We're still friends, all of us.
It's definitely good to hear because if you look at New York during the last 20 years, there's a whole gentrification was going on. Like it's getting, yeah, very expensive to live there, to pay the rent, and all musicians from Prong, like Tommy Victor,
Yeah,
he's now moving back to New York, but outside somewhere.
yeah,
But a lot of people, they're not in the city anymore. They
yeah.
are,
I just
oh,
saw Tom. We played with him at the
damn.
Dynamo Festival, the outside one. I think it was 2 years ago.
Mm,
Um, Yeah, we saw Tommy, and they were doing great, man. They were amazing. And Biohazard goes way back with Prong. That was our first show ever.
yeah.
First time Biohazard ever played, we opened for Prong at the
Wow.
Pyramid Club on Avenue A, and you know what I mean, on the east side down there. And that was our first show. Tommy let us open.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So we know him a long time, man. But yeah, bands, a lot of bands moved out. They wanted to branch out, move on. The city got weird. A lot of our clubs closed down
Mm,
where we used to hang out. CBGB's gone, like
yeah.
Lemore's gone, Brooklyn. Like things change. But I think all cities go through these changes. Look at Berlin. Look at
Sure.
look at London. Look at I remember all these cities. Fortunately, we've been touring long enough to remember how things were 35 years ago, or more,
Mm,
even more. That's how old we are now. But everything changes. But music can stay alive as long as we have the venues to play at, and we have the bands that want to play, and the people that want to go to the venues.
mm,
So we need a combination of everybody. We need the promoters who want to, we need the venue, and we need the people that want that live music, and we need the bands to, you know,
yeah.
want to travel. But now with technology and it's a different world. You don't have to really be on those streets and be in that scene in order to be relevant, like or be a part of it, or be attached to it, or
Mm,
feel like you belong. You can reach out, and then you can have a band that just solely tours all the time. So really, after a while, as a musician, it doesn't really matter where you live. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because
sure.
you play everywhere. Not just your home city.
Mm.
So that's how I look at it.
It's interesting point what you mentioned earlier when you look back 30 years ago,
Yeah.
because I would really like to know when it comes to the biohazard sound, how has biohazard sound evolved since the 90s, and maybe what influences from the current status scene or other influences have you incorporated into your new music?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was at first because we're influenced by a lot of new stuff, especially a lot of the newer hardcore bands. Like they're taking it to another level of aggression and just brutality. It's fucking amazing, and I love a lot of new stuff that I'm hearing, and I'm learning about new bands every day. But I'm also inspired by blues music. I play blues. I love blues. Evan's inspired by a different kind of music. Billy's inspired by different things. We're all inspired by different things. But when we got together to make a Biohazard record, like, what do we do with all of these influences we have? What kind of Biohazard record will this be? And thank God we had a good, this guy, Matt Hyde, produced it. And he basically said to us, listen, you guys need to be Biohazard. Just be you, and something you could do with your fucking eyes closed. Just do what you did in the early 90s. Just be yourselves. Don't worry about what's changed or think that you have to change in any way. So we really got to relax and just play with the same attitude we did for Urban Discipline and back in those days, and I think it shows on this record. I think it sounds like an older record,
Yeah,
you know.
definitely.
Uh, and I'm glad we did it like that. We're very happy. We're very proud that we did it that way because it's very honest. It's honestly Biohazard. This is it. It's just Biohazard. There's no fancy anything. We've experimented in the past with certain things, but melodically or with acoustics or piano or whatever, we felt the records back then were calling for that. But this record didn't call for anything like that. We never even thought of it. We just had all these riffs and grooves that were just natural to us.
Mm.
So, I'm not sure. I'm sure as we listen to it, maybe I feel maybe there's a few influences here and there, but we're really just influenced by our old band. We just wanted to be the old band.
Mm.
Because we feel like the old band on stage. So, you know.
How is it for you when you think about the lyrics and themes for the new record and you're thinking like when it comes to the older records, like from the 90s, early 90s, like, hey, there are some similarities, but in a different way. We talked about things 35 years ago and
Yeah,
they're still ongoing or repeating like that. How was it for
yeah,
you?
it's crazy because some of the old songs, we're thinking about it, like are still very relevant today,
Mm.
you know, because the world is even more fucked up in a lot of ways. But Biohazard, we try to keep the influence of the lyrics based more on a personal level. Like if it doesn't walk in the door and smack me in the fucking face, I really don't know what it's really about. I don't want to. We don't want to write about things that are somewhere over there. It's got to be affecting us. You know what I'm saying? So we try to keep it on a really personal level. And that's why when each of us write lyrics, we respect where it's coming from because we know it's coming from something personal. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Which is what we've always done. But I think this record is a lot like you know, past records because you have some that are pretty just straightforward, in your face, very simple message. It is what it is. And then you have some that give a little more to deep thought that might, it's a little deeper. But that's how we've always been. I don't see a big difference in evolution here. I think it sounds like a natural album that would have followed what we were doing as an original band in the past.
Mm.
You know, I think so.
How does the energy from your live shows and especially when you did the reunion to the upcoming record live shows translate into the new songs? And do you
Oh,
plan to test them also live very soon again here in
yeah.
Europe?
Okay. Great question. So this also has to do with how this all happened,
Mm.
right? By chance, in one of the biggest airports in the world, LAX, we hadn't spoken to Evan in we were all distant, hadn't been together in 10 years or more. We hadn't spoken to Evan. We had a bad falling out. It was terrible. And Evan happened to run into Danny Schuler's brother in LAX airport. Hey, how you doing? They knew each other since kids, So they exchanged numbers, and Danny decided to call him. And then Danny calls me, hey man, I just spoke to Evan. Really? So we all started talking, and then we 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 buried the hatchet, as we say, made amends,
Yeah.
and we just wanted our friendship back. And then that became to like a relationship again. And then we were like, hey, why don't we just play some shows, man, for old time's sake? So we started playing some shows, and then no plans to do an album, but then the crowd, the audience, oh my God, man, that makes you start writing riffs, and coming up with ideas because you're inspired by the audience and the shows. Then that started into like, hey, let's start writing some music. And then it was like, hey, let's make a record. It was just naturally falling into place. And then on this last tour with Life of Agony, we decided to try one song live. And I
Mhm.
have to say, in the past, Biohazard is always, in the early days, we would play a new song live to test it out in the crowd. And a lot of times the crowd's standing there like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It's new. We don't want the old shit. Yeah.
It's not that they don't want it, they don't understand it. It's strange, it's weird. They don't know the groove. They don't, what is this? So it's kind of like a dip in the show, like of energy. Like you have all this
Mhm.
energy and then you play this new thing and everybody just it goes down and then you got to pick it back up. But when we played Forsaken, every night the energy was boom, 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 like through the crowd reacted like they'd been listening to it for 20 years. I was like, how do they know this? Who leaked the song? Who released this without telling us? Because they're acting like they know the song. Like right away, the mosh pit started. Like they started stage diving, and you know,
Yeah.
we never had that kind of reaction before for a new song. I don't think that I remember.
Right.
So wow, that felt really good. So we knew, we might be onto something with this with the direction that we went in because it was inspired by the crowd and it's for the crowd. Because we're a live band, man.
Definitely.
We're not a fucking billboard radio band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh. You know, I really hope everybody likes the record. I just think I hope they understand it and they like it, man. We worked hard on it.
I really would like to know, and I know it because I saw a couple of interviews that Jimi Hendrix has a huge impact on you and your
Yeah.
guitar
Oh yeah.
playing. And I really would like to know when it comes to the songwriting process, which person got the most impact or is a huge inspiration for you, or even when it comes to the new record, you mentioned that the newer hardcore bands is somehow an influence by a specific
Yeah.
band, song, even producer or a musician where you're
Well,
like,
the
that
new
is a,
hardcore bands, they influenced me and they inspire me to play my guitar and play my songs. I don't want to like they're doing something new and I love it. I don't want to like try to copy what they're doing because I want to respect that. I want to respect it. You know what I mean? I don't want to change who I am to try to fit in anywhere. We never really fit in anyway. We
mm,
were always too hardcore for metal and too metal for hardcore and
yeah,
whatever. So, but yeah, I'm inspired just by great bands. I love to watch great bands. I don't care if they're hardcore or they're blues bands or they're funk bands or they're like, as long as it's great musicianship from the heart, if it comes from your heart, I love it.
yeah.
As far as Jimi Hendrix goes, I mean, yeah, what do you want to know about that? Like,
I want to talk about more, let me say, about the songwriting when it comes to composing a song, not like shredding or playing a
no,
solo, more
yeah,
even like structures and to build up a song because not every musician is a songwriter. Some people are contributing. I mean, Biohazard is an open, how do you say, it's an open workflow. Everybody can contribute and write
everybody
songs, for
writes.
instance. So yeah.
Everybody writes. Yeah, we all write. Danny writes guitar riffs and songs, and Billy, writes or we all try to write drum beats and try to relay to Danny what we like, what we want to have on
Mm.
our riffs, and everybody writes lyrics, uh, and we have our own process of how we do it, you know. So we call it the meat grinder. And so everybody brings in their idea, whether it's one riff or a poem or a whole song, music and lyrics, whatever you bring in, you might think, okay, this is it, but it's not. You put it on the table and then in front of us, and everybody devours it like a pack of fucking wolves and push it through the process where everybody gets to put in input. And they might have ideas about one part that didn't dawn on the writer, but wow, it made your song better. And then somebody said, wait, change the lyrics to this, or change the flow of the lyrics to that because it goes better with this riff, or wait a minute, let's change the arrangement. Let's take out that middle part and put in this middle part. And then we all, contribute and we all, try to bring it to the next level. And then basically what I'm saying is whatever the individual's idea is changes after you bring it to the band, it's completely different or it's been enhanced
Mm.
in another way. And it would never be what the finished product is without the four of us.
Yeah.
So that's why we credit everything we do to each other, to all of us, because we all give our best to take everybody's ideas make them the best we can make them, or make them feel the best, or just work the best. And if something's working, you just don't say nothing, you
Mm.
know. That's part of it too. You know what I mean? So we do really well when we write together. That's a good thing about Biohazard. We're okay with that.
Yeah, thank you very much to give us this kind of info and insight of your band and also the new record. Unfortunately, our time is running out. So, Bobby, I hope to catch you very soon in
Yeah.
Europe again.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, we definitely have some festivals in July and a bunch of shows, like over 30 shows, I think we're looking at doing or something. We're talking about it a lot. As far as getting there before that, I'm not sure yet. Still discussing. But the album's coming out October 17th, Divided We Fall.
this,
And, thank you very much, man. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to follow you, your stuff. And I appreciate your time and I appreciate everybody for listening. Dankeschön. And,
thank you very much, Bobby. And very important, you are also now on social media, for instance, on Instagram. I
yeah, but I
followed
don't
you
know
when
how to
you.
do it yet. So people ask me, hey, why aren't you doing this? I said, I don't know. Sammy's helping me and other on the management, and there's other people running it for me until I learn how to do it. I'm a guy who types with one thumb. Like I don't know what I'm doing yet. So I'm a little old school, but I'll try. Yeah, I'm
Thank
on
you,
there.
Bobby.
Instagram.
Thank you, Bobby.
Instagram. Thanks, brother.
See ya.
Take All right,
Bye.
man.
Moshpit Passion, for the passion of music.